can you tell me about Video Your Vote and how that's going to work?
Yeah, the final election program in our YouTube 08 platform on YouTube is going to be called Video Your Vote, and it's a partnership with PBS designed to encourage voters across the country to document their voting experience on election day. So to actually take a camera with them to the polling place and show the world how their experience went, whether it was great and exciting or whether there were problems at the polls. We want to get a sense for what takes place on election day and to really compile the largest video library in history of what takes place in the election. And this is, I think, a way to both get more people engaged in the process of voting, but also to increase transparency about what happens at the polling place. If there are, exceedingly long lines, or if there's a broken machine, or if there's some voter intimidation going on, we want citizens themselves to be able to document that on video and use YouTube to get their message out to the world.
Now that's really significant because you guys are going to be doing, this is really a news initiative where you could be breaking news, like if there's fraudulent voting going on, you're working with PBS. What's the impact of that on YouTube, which is known mainly for its user-generated content?
Well, this will be sort of voter-generated content, I guess. And PBS is the editorial power here. We really are just a platform. But we've seen a lot of people do this already. I mean, undoubtedly on YouTube on November 4th, we'll see a lot of election day video. We saw a lot of people videotaping their voting experience throughout the primary. So this is just a way to sort of spotlight that in a particular location. And then what PBS brings in is they offer some educational videos about what's taking place, everything from voter registration to election reform. PBS is putting the call out to the YouTube community saying, hey, submit your videos at youtube.com/videoyourvote. And then once voters have done that, they'll take a look at those that are exposed, and then some of the most important ones they'll actually broadcast on PBS's election coverage on November 4th. So you'll be able to see kind of the most interesting content that bubbles up to the top, get extra exposure on PBS.
Okay, great. So one of the things that came up during the panel was misinformation and sort of the role that different media outlets are playing in dispelling it, or in some cases, propelling it. What is YouTube's role in that? How are you dispelling it in some cases, and are there cases where you're promoting it in certain ways?
Misinformation? Well, the veracity of any given claim on the internet is something that, both the internet community itself and news organizations have to vet through. YouTube is just a platform, so anybody can post anything to the site, and if there's something that's posted up there that you don't think is true, you're more than welcome to go there and post a reply video to that video or make a comment on it. And really the wisdom of crowds comes into play here to sort of float stuff up that's true and push stuff down that isn't. But then, news organizations themselves have used YouTube to work with fact-checking and such. Factcheck.org has their own YouTube channel. PolitiFact has their own YouTube channel. These, strong brands in the accuracy field have used YouTube to actually, sort of police the internet for misinformation and expose it. And then the candidates do too. Barack Obama has a whole section of his website devoted to combating the smears that surface on a variety of different platforms on the internet. So I think there's a lot of ways to do it, I think, organically, but YouTube does not stand there as an organization that's going to determine the truth or untruth of any given piece of content.
Right.
I think that we're living in a media environment where you can be very slick and polished, but YouTube kind of brings a more authentic view of the discussion or view of candidates to play. And so, yeah, videos that capture politicians saying things that they might not have said if they didn't know a camera was on them, that kind of does really well. And so we've seen that ever since the George Allen's macaco moment back in the 2006 midterm election to today, when almost every day there's something caught on YouTube of somebody making a slip. I think that that's sort of naturally interesting to people, but I think it also has a way of sort of humanizing politics and making it seem like these candidates are human just like we are, and people give them more credit than you might think.
Right. So the Obama race speech, you said, is one of the top political videos on YouTube with over 5 million views, and it's a 37-minute long video. Is that a fluke, or are people more interested in watching long-form content than we thought?
I think people are more interested in seeing content that they want when they want to see it. The speech that Obama gave on race was given at, I think, 10 in the morning. Not many people are watching TV at that time, but you might want to check it out later. And so it got all these millions of views. I think what the internet represents here is just choice, the ability to see what you want to see, when you want to see it, for how long you want to see it. So yeah, certainly short clips do better on YouTube, but I'd argue that the news media's coverage of the Obama speech on race, for example, is probably only included 7-second sound bites that they were able to insert into a story. So actually having that archived video on YouTube, I think, raises the level of public information because you can actually go back and hear the whole thing. And the same is true for any political speech on YouTube.